whatever the conflicts are, domestic or international, religious or between states, and any other, to give them a kind of set of tools of how to understand conflicts, how to analyze them, how to do research in conflicts, and hopefully some tools of how to resolve conflicts and end them. Although, as we know, most conflicts are managed and not resolved. Currently, Putin is giving us some more conflicts, which are more old-fashioned, but this is what we're trying to do. Yes, this we already talked about, and it's not only that this is how we teach it. Also, if we look at where our students come from, they come from a variety of different fields. We do not. You need a certain average of about 85 in order to enter our program, and we do look at where you're coming from. But our students overall come from a variety of different fields, and it fits the way we teach, and it fits the way that we think about this topic. These are some of the teachers in the program, not all of them, but some of them. And as to the program, again, I won't go into too many details, but if you have questions, Nate, since you asked about this before, you can ask again. But very broadly, there's a mandatory course of theories, which I teach. There are core mandatory courses, and then there is an interdisciplinary department seminar that runs throughout all the year. Which we bring different scholars. Usually it's scholars, sometimes it's practitioners of the field, and kind of gives you an overview besides or on top of what you study in the program itself. And then there are other courses which are there are workshop and research and the research method course and seminar papers and elective courses. We have a list of the courses. Again, I don't know. I don't think we should go into all of them, but it's just a kind of an overview for anyone who's interested to look into to see. The variety of topics that we cover in this program. This is of the core courses. Research method, you can choose out of what we have. Workshops, you can choose some of what we have. So again, it's a variety of them. Questions or thoughts or something so far? Ifat, Ruth, something to add? No?
Maybe finish the presentation, or if somebody has.
Okay. Again, I think it's too much to go into the different clusters now and all that. Those who are interested, we will be more than happy to continue emailing with you, talking with you about all the specifics. Our program is usually, since we ask for an average which is pretty high, we usually don't have, we try to give kind of a personal approach to every student, starting from when you enlist to the courses and further on throughout the studies, and therefore each cluster is different than the other, and sometimes students want a specific course, so we try to allow them specific courses which are not necessarily part of what we have here, and so we try to be flexible in every cluster. There are clusters, but again, you can choose from others as well. So again, I'm not going to go into every culture. Alumni that we have are from a variety of different fields. I can say that we have more experience with Israeli students because this program has been going on for 15 plus years in Israel, but also in the last 3-4 years when it's run, when we also have the English courses. Again, the students ending the MA here, go to a variety of different fields with the expertise of being conflict research. These are students getting their PhD with IFAT students getting PhDs. Admissions, Ruth, do you want to talk about the admissions? It's probably, you're better off talking about this than me.
These are requirements, and you can see the requirements. If you come from an English-speaking institution, then you don't need the exam, the TOEFL exam, and the tuition is not. Maybe it will go back to $10,000 because the shekel is going down now and the dollar is going up, but now it's about $11,000, but it's quickly changing, so who knows how it will be. So you can see here the admission requirements.
In any case, whether it's 10,000 or 11,000, I think it's much cheaper than any other MA program in the world, I think, but I'm probably exaggerating, but it's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Ruth, sorry.
So I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Reut. I am the program coordinator. Hi. I sent some information in the chat right now. We have some links to our website. So you already said you looked into it. We have the study program and the link for the registration system and everything. We have here Dr. Yuval Ben-Ziman that you heard talking about the program. We have the head of the program, Professor Ifat Maoz. We also have here Clara, that is one of our international students, the best one. Please feel free to ask me any question regarding registration and everything that in the area of administration. If you have any questions about the program, Ifat and Yuval is here for you, are here for you. Just want to mention that we are offering a full refund for the registration fee for those who will be accepted to the program and register for courses and eventually will be part of our program. You'll have here all of the details, also my email and Ifat, and I will be very thankful if you can write your email also in the chat area so we can contact you. And that's it for now. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Yeah, so let's do the stop share. How do we do that?
Yes, I'll stop it. So nice, I forgot how to use the Zoom.
Okay, so to go back over one important point that Yuval raised, several important points that he raised. One is that we, like Yuval said, we built a personal program with each student because we don't have a lot of students. So we have the courses that all of you have to take, but beyond that, we sit with each student, we see what interests you, what suits you best, what your goal is, why are you taking this program, and then we build the program personally to suit what you want and your expectations. We tell you about each course beyond the copywriting of the title of the course and the description of the course, what it is really about, because we know all the courses and we advise you if to take it or not according to what we understand about you. Our program is, for what we do in our program, that is, we take the lowest tuition that we can take, because similar program takes $16,000 or even more. We take the lowest tuition that we can take, and as a result, this is the fellowship or scholarship that we can give. We could have taken $16,000 and then given you $5,000 scholarship. It's a matter of framing, but what we choose to do is to take the lower tuition. We don't take it ourselves. It's the state, the university. So we just take that. We don't take the additional money to the program. And then we cannot give fellowships. We are sometimes able, as Clara knows, according to the budget of the specific year, to give small fellowships of $1,000, $2,000 only to the international students, and then we do that. About the question that Nate asked, Tel Aviv program is a good program, but it's a much, I think Yuval knows it better, but it's a much bigger program. I think it has lots of people. It's not personal. It's not tailored for every student. It's a kind of a mass program for lots of students. The emphasis there is more practical, strategic, practical, much less academic. What happens is that students from Tel Aviv come to us after finishing that program and realizing that they did not get the research component and they want to get it with us, and then we don't accept them. But so if your focus is in any way academic or research, it would be better to begin from the beginning with us than to go there and then to realize that you do not have this component. And I know the students that try to come from Tel Aviv don't have this enough. When they finish the program in Tel Aviv, they do not have enough research skills, academic skills, so we cannot accept them unless they want to do everything all over again. So, but it may be that in practical terms, maybe Tel Aviv offers more. I don't know, I haven't checked that, but I know that that's the way they present themselves, and that's their emphasis, practical terms, activities, workshops, maybe with a practical aspect in them. So that's what we have to say about the question about the comparison between us and Tel Aviv. Other questions?
No, the PhD, or I say that I saw, sorry, the no was for the chat a question, but and if I'd correct me if I'm wrong, it's I would say it's not an automatic. We don't have a route for PhDs. Students who do their MAs with us, and that we think that they can do a thesis, which is not all the students, and they do a very good thesis, later on can also eventually become PhD students. But not to mix that with, there are programs that have a kind of direct course to PhD, or that is how it is framed. This is not in our case. In our case, it's you do your MAs. When you do your MAs, if you're good enough to do your thesis, we are happy to have very good research students who can do their MA, their thesis with us. And if the thesis is very good, then we go to PhD, but it's not a kind of a direct PhD program or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So other questions? I think, although Yuval spoke about it, we'll mention a few. Okay, Sandra, you want to ask something? Yeah, we don't require any supplementary studies, so it doesn't matter where you graduated from, you can get accepted to our program without any supplementary studies. So, and it doesn't matter, it can be different fields. And I'll mention different topics or perspectives on conflict that our courses deal with. So it's psychology, social psychology, culture, literature, cinema, gender, post-colonialism, critical theories, diversity, the direction of dialogue and peace building, international relations, communication, media. So these are history, Middle East. Law, I would say less. Business, I would say less. I mentioned all the domains I mentioned, that's well represented in the program, and you can choose a route that stresses these points of view and aspects, and you can choose to do your research projects on these. But the things that we do not represent enough or at all are the business approach to conflict resolution, interpersonal, personal, clinical psychology, divorce, marriage, interpersonal conflicts between people and mediating them, and other things we don't represent in our program. So at law, the legal perspectives, we have a couple of courses that are in the law faculty and you can take them, but it's not that it's represented in our program as a major thing, and it's not that you can do a research project with the professor from law, but it's not something that's represented as a major thing in our own program. So these are things, and the whole business financial, I know because students ask us about it, so it's important to clarify from the beginning, no, we don't have it and we will not have it, even if you ask for it. So if you want it, go somewhere. We just have with students now people that are, although we clarified, are now asking for these aspects. So we are not dealing, there's a limited number of domains that we can really be expert on and focus on, and that's what we're doing. And other things we do not even say that we do. What was the question? Occupations, NGOs.
Okay, sorry, I'll answer. What occupations the local students? Okay, it's such a variety of aspects. It's pretty hard to answer. And on top of that, I'll say that at least the Israelis, the Hebrew-speaking students, sometimes come to us when they're already having a profession, but they want to become more expert. And therefore, we have people who work in the NGOs, people who work in the Israeli government. I'm thinking about the students we have now. Some of them are journalists. Some of them are working in different fields that they think that they can benefit from also learning the conflict management. So it's really a variety of different things. Very hard to kind of say this is what they do. I think that what I just described here is true for a lot of the social sciences people, but to some degree, I think that in those who study conflict resolution, it's even a wider range of things because of the characteristics of this field. So that is, it's not concrete, but yeah.
Who? What? Yeah, sure. Who is asking if you can answer?
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. From Nigeria, it's good evening. My name is Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi. Okay. Like I wrote initially, I graduated with an MA, a 4.1 actually, from the Department of History and International Relations. And although my thesis I wrote on economic development in Nekede, it's a place in Nigeria, Imo State to be precise. So that was what I wrote on. And I'm choosing conflict research, management, and resolution because it's, I don't know, someone asked the occupation that one could get from there. I think it's a very vast course because we're in the age where conflict abound, yeah? And managing these conflicts takes a whole lot. In fact, even with the peace resolutions in the UN here and there, so many peace organizations, yet conflicts are still abounding. So it's studying this course would help us know how to manage these conflicts and resolve them. It's not enough to manage them, it's also to resolve the ones that are there as well, and resolving the ones that will come. So yeah, should I use the word fortunately or unfortunately? But well, I'm a Nigerian, and we know the conflicts that are abounding and that keep coming up here and there, both interstate, intercommunal rivalries here and there. So yeah, we can work anywhere. The occupation abound. You can work anywhere. You can set up your own organization. You can work with the UN. And it's not all about working somewhere. It's about knowing what you're studying, knowing what conflict is, knowing how to manage these conflicts, and thinking up ways to resolve them. And we won't be able to resolve these conflicts if we lack understandings of the cultural diversities that abound. So yes, our occupation varies. It's so wide. In fact, we can't even ask, where can I work studying this course? I can work everywhere. I can even work in my house. I can resolve conflicts at home, and I'm making waves. So yes, you can work in oil companies. You can work with their community. You can. I don't know. It's so much. The occupation abounds. So that's the answer, or contribute to the occupation part.
Thank you,
So,
Sandra.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you're right that our graduates do work in different fields, really diverse fields.
Everywhere.
Yeah, really, really everywhere. We have Israeli graduates because, as Yuval said, the Israeli program is older, but they really work in senior positions in different fields and with their skills and knowledge and theory of research of conflict resolution. So other questions? Clara,
Okay, go for it.
So yes, yeah, I wanted to ask, how do I start? Because I really want to pursue a PhD in conflict research and management, conflict research management and resolution. Yes. So how do I start? How do I go about it? Who are the professors that I could look up to or go through to be my research supervisors and so on and so forth? So what's the beginning point for me and the rest of it?
We're not a PhD program. You can't enroll directly to PhD, as Yuval said before. So it's only, we begin with an MA, and if it evolves through the MA to a thesis and through the thesis to a PhD, then okay, but we do not have an option of enrolling directly to a PhD because we're not a PhD program. Only it can evolve from the MA.
Okay, from the MA. So I have to start from the MA. What result do I use? Do I use my first degree, or I can still use my MA degree to start with your MA program? So what degree do I start with?
You start with a MA, and you send us the transcripts of your BA, and then if it's in the standards of what the program requires, then you get accepted to the MA and you start. But if you're sure you want a PhD, I'm not sure it's the best route, because a better route may be a program that's directed specifically for PhD from the beginning. And there may be such programs, or maybe in where you did MA in history, so maybe it should be a program in a PhD in history. It's maybe a better if what you want is a PhD now. Like,
no, it's I could do an MA. The course is my thing, conflict research management and resolution. It's what I want. But what I'm asking is, now I have a BA, Bachelor of Arts, and a Master of Arts. And my BA actually graduated in 2011. Yes. And that's quite a long time. And truth be told, I had a second class lower, and I kind of went through a series, and then I went in further for my MA. That was, I had to go back with I went back to the course History and International Studies, because there's a saying that the day that you wake up, that is your morning. So yeah, I woke up and I knew it was time to find something for myself, and I want this in my life, and this is what I want to go after. And
Sandra, I don't think as if I said before, everyone that will email us will talk about the individual issue of each and every student, and we'll try to make the best of it. But generally, just to give the broader answer that fits for everyone and not you specifically. You can email me or Ifat or Reut, and we'll be happy to give you a specific answer to your case. But generally, we allow the registrations for anyone who has above 85 in their BAs. It's an MA program, not a PhD program. With the option, if someone is very good in their MA, then they can do the thesis and then they can do their PhD. And for your question of how do you find instructors for your thesis or for your PhD, they probably will come from the professors you study with during your studies. You will try to find someone that fits what they are researching, and this is usually how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Yuval.
And we'll be glad to do a Zoom meeting with each of you and advise you and answer questions personally. Each of you, it's like part of the process. We do Zoom meetings from now and to help you decide and to see what's best for you. And as you see, we tell you openly, does it fit, doesn't it fit, what would be best? So anyone who wants a Zoom meeting will be glad to do it. Nate, what did you want to ask?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. It might be better for a later conversation, but I was curious to learn more about the research components. So I'm coming from a sociology background and I've primarily used qualitative methods. So I'd love to hear more about what like research components are, I don't know, more focused on. Is it mixed methods? Is it also quantitative? So just what are the disciplinary methods that you all focus on? And maybe Clara, also, if you want to talk about like your experience in your research, I'd love to hear more about what you've been focusing on.
Okay, so maybe we begin with Clara because,
Okay, so I'm currently studying in the program. Do you have a specific question about the research or like the classes, how it goes, or just in general, do you want to hear about the program?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is more about like what types of methodologies have you been focusing on? Like what has been resonating, or what is just in general, what are the methodologies?
So in my first semester, it's basically been mostly qualitative research methods. Actually, Ifat teaches a course about that, so we've just finished that up. And in general, speaking about the contents of the research, I can also say that all of the classes allow for a lot of independence in that, which I've really enjoyed. So you don't spend a lot of time researching things that you're not really interested about, and you really focus on the subjects that you want to develop. And that's been the case in all of my classes. So yeah, but methodology wise, yeah, qualitative for the moment. That's what we focused on. Yeah, but also just in general, maybe, I don't know if also I've put my email down in the discussion box. If you want like a more one-on-one meeting or something like that about the program, just send me an email and we can arrange for a Zoom meeting. But in terms of the program, I think what has really stood out for me personally is the fact that it's, as we said, it's a really small cohort, which means that you have close ties with different students. But it also means that you have the ability to really interact with your professors on a closer level, because, well, if you're 100 people in one classroom, you can't really have discussions. But if you're 10, then you can really have debates and develop those relationships, which has been great. Like my class, the biggest class that I've been in has been 30 students. And that was the biggest one. And so you still have that interaction with the professors, which is really, really great.
Yeah. So thank you, Clara. And then the important point, so about research methods, so we do have qualitative, and I think that's most of us, for some reason or another, do teach qualitative research methods, although I am basically originally quantitative social psychologist. If somebody wants quantitative and is interested in quantitative, we can direct them to courses that are quantitative, but only if people are interested. If they're not, we even warn them, don't take it because you might not like it. It may be more boring or technical than you think. But if people want it, we have quantitative courses. And another type is, it's within the qualitative, I think we have a more positivist qualitative approach, which I represent, maybe Yuval represents, other people, and there is a more critical approach, critical culture, post-colonialist approach, which is also represented. So if people are interested in this approach, we can direct them to courses that use this approach and that enable to develop a research project that is more critical, cultural, post-colonialist, whatever. But I think each of the students does go through the more basic positivist qualitative approach, and then they can build on to the direction that they are interested in. As Clara said, I think we give lots of choices, and we prefer students to focus on what interests them and not to give them topics and say, okay, that's what you're doing for your research project. We give the skills to do them, and then people focus on what, with our guidance, on what interests them. Questions?
I'll just add, and if I'm sorry if I'm embarrassing you here, but I just, I just read an article of Ifat, which from I think it's from the just published in the last month or two, with Nira Levy from Stanford, which is quantitative. It's not qualitative, and it's totally, I mean, it's quantitative, and I'm just saying this because I read it a week ago, and it's such a good article. And so it's really Nate, if you want to, I'll send you the link to Ifat's article.
Yes,
and you'll see that it's also not only qualitative. I do qualitative, and Ifat does mostly qualitative, but at least she knows also how to do quantitative as opposed to me.
Yeah, I know. I have courses in Hebrew that are quantitative, and if people would be really interested in it, we would get a larger quantitative component also in the courses in the international program, but it goes according to interest also. Thank you. Okay, anyway. Okay, other questions? You didn't ask the question about the Zoom. Wow, thanks. Wow.
Sorry. It's really good. It's really good. Read it.
Wow, really? Thanks. The question about the Zoom, while we had last year in Zoom and this year we got permission to be on Zoom, it's most likely, we can't predict what will happen with the pandemic, but it's most likely that next year we will not be on Zoom. So I think Yuval likes to be on campus. I love Zoom, but it's not up to any of us. So we can take into account next semester, we're still on Zoom because there are people that began on Zoom. So now we let them complete the program on Zoom, but we can take into account, unless something really bad happens, that next year will be on Zoom, or even a few courses will be on Zoom. So it's likely that next year we'll be on campus. Okay, great. Okay, other questions? We still have 4 minutes before we go back to the general.
Alexia, you just joined, so if you have, if you missed something and you have a question or something you want to know, because we won't go through the presentation again, but if there are any questions or something specific that someone wants to know.
Yeah, more questions. Okay.
Just in terms of next steps, is the best way to follow up with you just to email you or just like go through the official? Okay.
Yeah, the best is to email, and then we send you an email that we have with lots of information about the program. Like we have a prepared email with attached documents with lots of updated information about the program. And Clara, thanks for doing that. And then I think the best is to do a Zoom meeting, because after you read that material, then there are more specific questions, and then the best is to do a Zoom meeting, and we're very glad to do it. And we're also very glad to start building your program with you and to see how it can be matched to how long do you want to study, 2 semesters, 3 semesters, 4 semesters. So we're very glad to also start building a kind of a draft program. Master thesis.
It's again, it's difficult for, at least I think it's difficult to say about international students because we're only, it has been going only for 3 or 4 years now. In the last, I think that on average, I would say that I have 2 master students each year out of, let's say, usually this year is a bit different, but usually we have about 15 Hebrew students who study in the Hebrew program. Out of them, I think we could say that 2 or 3, Ifat, am I wrong in the numbers?
Yeah.
About that do the masters, I think.
Yeah, and
the thesis, sorry, the thesis.
And then it takes about a year to do it. It's the 2nd year of the masters when you get accepted or not accepted, and you're supposed to finish it during the 2nd year of the masters until December 31st of the 2nd year of the masters. You begin it in about October when you know if you're accepted, if you found a supervisor, and then you finish it in December the year after. And following what Yuval mentioned, I don't know if it's relevant to any of you, but we have courses in Hebrew and courses in English, and people, if they know both languages, they can mix. They can choose to do only English, only Hebrew, or they can do any combination they want of Hebrew and English, because we have the same course in both languages. And this means that you also meet the Israeli students because they also take the courses in English. They like the courses in English, they take them. And this means that you study also only with the international students, but also a lot with the Israeli students, that some are English speakers or some just want to take the courses in English. Okay, so are they calling us back to the, so what should we do? How do we go back? It's like a science fiction. How do we return